Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I'm the program manager for Seattle's annual user experience conference called ConveyUX, and that's coming up February 27th and 28th, and also March 1st in Seattle. And one of the cool things I get to do is talk to our many presenters, and I'm fortunate to be speaking today to Dan Brown. Hello, Dan. How you doing?
Joe, I'm great. How are you?
Well, everything's pretty good here in wintertime in Seattle. Where are you speaking to us from?
I am in the Washington, D.C. suburbs at the moment.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me. And I mean, I've certainly been familiar with your work for a long time, and you've been an important voice in our profession for a long time. But for the purposes of this, people who may not be familiar with you, maybe you could start just talking a little bit about your background and the types of things you're involved with now.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I've been doing web design since there's been web design, so the mid-90s is when I got started in the business. A little more than 10 years ago, I started my own shop with my business partner, Nathan Curtis. That's called 8 Shapes. We're based here in the DC area. I would call us kind of a boutique user experience design firm. And in the last several years, Nathan and I have each focused on different aspects of design. Nathan's really focused on design systems and helping design teams and product teams really develop kind of an infrastructure for doing modular design. Meanwhile, my focus is more on the front end of the design process, helping design and product teams do the discovery work around their products.
Well, I know you're always keeping busy, and you just recently finished up with doing another book, which I'm sure took up a lot of your time. That was Practical Design Discovery. I'm sure you'll mention that, but anything currently that's caught your eye that you're passionately working on?
Well, I'm doing a bunch of different discovery projects, and a lot of the times that involves information architecture. I got started in this business doing IA, so I had long called myself an information architect. I've really been passionate and thinking a lot about the underlying structures of websites for a long time. What I find interesting is how IA remains relevant even all these years later. Because at the end of the day, as we start to converge on visual design standards or interface standards for online products, where the differences really happen is how we structure and store and classify that information. So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is creating a tool for information architects to help them think more deeply about the structures that they're working on. It's abstract work, it's complicated work, it's messy work, it's still work that touches all aspects of the organization, and it can be a little too easy to wear blinders as you're doing the work. So I've crafted a set of what I'm calling IA lenses to help IAs challenge themselves, think more deeply about the work that they're doing on. So I wrote a blog post earlier this year on Medium about IA lenses, and I'm hopeful that in the first quarter next year, I'll release a alpha set of cards that help people that have each of the lenses on them.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing those. Well, so you're going to be in town at Seattle doing a few things with the conference. One of those is one of the half-day workshops that's included with the conference fee, and that's crafting the discovery phase, starting design projects right. So why don't you talk a little bit about what we can expect from that?
Sure. I love doing this workshop. What I'm finding is that people or modern design is very much about kind of working closely integrated with a product team to get features shipped very quickly. And what I'm finding is there's an enormous appetite for designers to take that step back and think more deeply about the design problems that they're working on. Discovery is very much that part of the project, is taking that step back and thinking about how do we set things up for ourselves to do better design work. The workshop really kind of walks that line between theory to help people understand why we do discovery and practice to help them think more carefully about how they structure their discovery activities. At the end of the workshop, participants will have a framework for thinking about how to structure their design or their discovery phases.
Well, you're also going to be doing a feature presentation for our full assemblage on the second day of the event, Curiosity, Skepticism, Humility, Achieving the Right Mindset for Design Discovery. So what are you going to tap into there?
Yeah, sure. So the other side of the coin to discovery is that it requires us to adopt a mindset, what I call a mindset, really a set of attitudes and behaviors that embody what it means to acquire knowledge, really, and that knowledge is to help inform the design process. I believe that mindset is really three different things: curiosity, getting excited about new things that we can learn about; skepticism, not taking our assumptions for granted; and humility, not thinking that we're the source of all the answers. Right? So those three things combined are essential for discovery. So what I'll talk about in that session, again, fairly abstract, but what I want to do is try and make that as concrete as possible. I'll talk about sets of behaviors that people can adopt. So even if they're not really embracing their skepticism, or like me, have trouble being humble, can use these behaviors to emulate them.
Well, those are going to be, that's going to be another great session to have at our event, and you're also going to participate in our annual community super meetup, where we have a panel of experts who happen to be available for the conference, but that super meetup is attended by people from throughout the Puget Sound area. Actually, technically, anybody could attend from anywhere, and that's presented by the various meetup groups related to the UX profession in the area. So, we'll have you involved in that as well. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me for a few minutes about this, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Seattle at the end of February.
I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dan. Bye-bye.